Have you ever experienced a moment so strange, so sudden, that it made you stop in your tracks without knowing why? Imagine this. You're walking through a busy street, the noise of traffic and the blur of faces all around you. Or maybe you're sitting quietly in a cafe you've been to countless times before. Nothing feels unusual until it happens. Your eyes lock with those of a stranger. Just one heartbeat, one fleeting instanting, yet something deep within you halts. It isn't fear. It isn't confusion. It feels more like recognition, a kind of silent whisper from somewhere inside you saying, I know this. I've been here before. It's as if your soul, hidden beneath the layers of your daily routine, has remembered something it never truly forgot. You didn't expect it. You weren't searching for it. And yet there it is. And in that moment, the world seems to stand still. There are no fireworks cracking open the night sky. No thunderclaps or lightning bolts from the universe announcing destiny's arrival. Nothing cinematic. Instead, what you feel is something quieter, undeniable stillness, a knowing. Almost as if, for a single second, everything falls into place, exactly as it should. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, philosopher, once wrote, everything that happens, happens as it should. If you observe carefully, you will see this is so. Perhaps that encounter was never meant to change the entire world. But perhaps, just perhaps, was meant to change you. Psychologists call this strange phenomenon synchronicity, term made famous by Carl Jung. He noticed that sometimes events occur with such poetic timing, with such resonance, that they feel almost designed. Not random, not meaningless, but carrying significance we can't ignore. Think about it. You're sitting at home, and someone comes to mind. You haven't spoken to them in months, maybe years. And then, moments later, your phone buzzes, and it's them. Or you're traveling, wandering into a cafe you've never visited before. And suddenly, you meet a person who shifts the direction of your entire life. Coincidence? Or something deeper? Jung believed these events are not mere accidents. They are mirrors, a mysterious reflection of the inner world, showing itself in the outer world. Your thoughts, your emotions, your hidden desires, with Stoics, of course, approach the mystery differently. They were not interested in cosmic signs or hidden forces. For them, what mattered was never the event itself, but your response to it. Epictetus reminded his students, it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. So when someone suddenly appears in your life, when they stir something powerful inside you, the true question is not, who are they? What role will they play in my fate? The Stoic question is far more revealing. What within me has just awakened? Because maybe the person you've met isn't here to complete you or to fulfill some mystical prophecy. Maybe they've appeared simply to act as a mirror so you can see yourself more clearly. And so we pause, we notice, we ask, not just about the stranger standing before us, but about the stirrings of the soul rising quietly within. When the inner world meets the outer in the last part, we saw how a single encounter can feel less like coincidence and more like recognition, awakening from within. But Jung reminded us, not everyone you meet is meant to stay in your life. And yet, there are some people who appear with such uncanny alignment to your inner world that you cannot help but feel as though fate itself placed them before you. They don't arrive to complete you as if you were missing a piece. They arrive to reflect you, to show you who you are, and perhaps who you are becoming, according to psychology. Jung explained this through the concepts of anima and animus, two powerful inner images that live quietly within each of us. Anima is the feminine image within a man, an energy of sensitivity, intuition, deep emotion, and creativity. Animus is the masculine image within a woman, an energy of strength, reason, direction, and will. These are not stereotypes or social roles. They are symbolic forces, archetypal patterns in the psyche. And without us realizing, they shape the very people we are drawn to, as if some hidden compass inside is guiding the attraction. Have you ever fallen for someone and struggled to explain why? Perhaps you felt a strange certainty, as though they understood you before you ever spoke a word. Jung would say that this is projection, the unconscious casting its hidden image onto another person. But the Stoics, ever practical, would remind us what matters is not the projection itself, but what you take away from it, what lesson it teaches you about yourself. Epictetus warned, when someone provokes you, remember, it is your own judgment that has given them power. The same is true in reverse. When someone brings you peace, when they inspire you or make you feel more alive, it is also your own judgment, your own inner world, Tia, that has allowed them that power. In that way, even admiration reveals more about you than about them. These encounters become mirrors. A man may rediscover his long-forgotten tenderness through the anima reflected in another. A woman may uncover her inner strength through the animus reflected back at her dot and here. Both Jung and the Stoics point in the same direction, inward. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Men seek retreats in the mountains, by the sea, in the countryside. But the greatest retreat is within your own soul." So when you find yourself magnetized to someone, the question is not simply, who are they? The deeper, more Stoic question is, what do I truly see in them? That is, in fact, a reflection of myself. But Jung also offered a warning. Attraction is not always romance, and it is not always destiny. Sometimes it is simply the surfacing of a wound you have not yet healed. Sometimes the pull you feel is not truth, it is longing disguised as love. The Stoics understood this danger as well. Seneca observed, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And often, what dazzles us in another person is not who they truly are, but the echo of something we secretly crave. Yet even then, such encounters are never meaningless, because even if fleeting, they awaken you. They point you back to yourself. They remind you of the parts you've neglected, the strength or tenderness you've buried, the path you still must walk, and in that reminder, they leave you changed. In the last part, we reflected on how attraction can act like a mirror, revealing hidden pieces of ourselves. But what happens when the connection goes beyond words, when presence itself becomes the message? Sometimes you meet someone and suddenly conversation feels unnecessary. You don't need to explain who you are, defend your choices, or prove your worth. You don't need to perform. You simply exist in their presences. Somehow, that feels like enough. It is not because you've met them before. It's not about past memories or shared history. It's something deeper because your soul remembers. Carl Jung would describe this as the unconscious rising to the surface. Archetypes, symbols, and instincts long buried emerge in response to another person. This is why a first encounter can feel like an entire lifetime condensed into a single moment. It explains why silence between you doesn't feel heavy or awkward, but strangely comforting. Why time itself seems to bend, to stretch, to vanish altogether when you are with them. The Stoics, with their practical lens, framed it in simpler terms: inner peace. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Withdraw into yourself. The region within is a place of calm." Sometimes you find that calm not by being alone, but through the quiet presence of another soul who resonates with yours. And yet, here lies the Stoic warning: not every deep connection is destined to last. Epictetus taught, "Do not call a jar yours. Call it what it is, a jar. When it breaks, you will not be distressed." Treat people the same. His point was not cruelty, nor detachment for its own sake. It was clarity. To see things as they aren't, as you wish them to be. Some people enter your life only to awaken you. They stir the shadows you have ignored. They challenge the beliefs you thought were unshakable. They remind you of the person you've become more, perhaps the person you are still becoming. And then, when their purpose is fulfilled, they move on. Jung agreed with this perspective. Even if brief, such encounters hold profound meaning. Some people act as bridges, carrying you from one stage of life to the next. Some are lessons, teaching you truths you could not have learned alone. Some remain companions for longer. But all of them, every single one, are guides. Seneca once reminded us, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." If you are awake, even a fleeting connection can carry the weight of eternity. A short encounter, when fully received, can transform your path as deeply as a lifelong bond. So, instead of asking with desperation, "Are they the one?" the Stoic question is different, sharper, and more revealing. What in me has awakened because of this? Because when something is truly meant for you, you will not need to chase it. You will not need to beg, to force, to grasp. You will simply know, in the silence, in the clarity, in the still calm place within, where truth always resides. Fate, awakening, and returning to the self. In the last part, we reflected on the beauty of silence and the truth that not every deep connection is meant to last. But this leads us to a larger question: when something does stay, when a bond feels profound and enduring, what does it really mean for it to be meant to be? We often repeat the phrase, "If it's meant to be, it will be." Yet beneath that comfort lies a deeper, sharper question. Who decides what is meant? Is it fate, written in some distant stars? Is it mere coincidence, chance, dressed in mystery? Or is it something quieter, hidden within the unconscious, guiding you toward what your soul truly needs? Carl Jung believed the people who truly matter in our lives do not arrive to complete us, as though we were broken pieces waiting to be made whole. Instead, they arrive to reflect oozmeers that awaken what lies within. They stir both desire and fear. They bring to light your strength, but also your fragility. And they do this not to break you, but to help you grow. The Stoics taught the same truth, though in a different language. They reminded us that freedom does not come from finding a flawless partner or a perfect companion. It comes from cultivating a steady soul. Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will flow well." So when someone truly meant for you arrives, it does not guarantee that the road will be easy, but it will always feel true. It will feel like alignment, like clarity, like a light in the middle of chaos. It will feel, strangely and beautifully, like coming home, not to them, but to yourself. And yet, not every meant to be will last a lifetime. Some people are bridges, helping you cross from one stage of life to another. Some are lessons, teaching you truths that cannot be learned in solitude. Some remain, walking beside you longer. But each one appears when you are ready, or when a deeper part of you is ready. Seneca once wrote, "If a man does not know what port he is steering for, no wind is favorable. Every encounter, every soul that stirs you, can become a favorable wind if you let it guide you inward, toward your true direction. So the next time someone enters your life and stirs something real, resist the urge to label them the one. Instead, pause, listen, not with your restless mind, but with that quiet place beneath it, the part of you that understands without words, because the soul does not speak in logic or calculation. It speaks in feelings, in timing, in that deep knowing you cannot explain. Perhaps being meant for someone is not about possession or permanence. Perhaps it is about recognition. Two souls, briefly remembering who they are simply by seeing each other clearly. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When two souls meet, if there is any reaction, both are transformed." And so, the real question is not, "Are they mine?" but rather, "What in me is waking up?" Because when something is truly meant for you, you won't need to chase it. You will know in the silence, in the timing, in the still and quiet place where truth always lives. If these words spoke to you, know this: you are not alone. We all carry hidden stories, quiet longings, and unanswered questions. Sometimes it takes another person, whether they stay for a season or a lifetime, to help us hear our own soul more clearly. If you felt seen, understood, or gently awakened today, I invite you to support this space. Please like this video, subscribe to Stoic Heaven Way, and join our growing circle of reflection and meaning, and share with us in the comments. Have you ever met someone who felt like synchronicity? Someone who stirred something timeless inside you? I would love to hear your story. Thank you for being here. Until next time, take care. May you always find the clarity, the calm, and the courage to come home to yourself.